Alright then, so we're gonna just chill and relax today for this little content episode, this episode 9 of Car Thoughts. Episode 9 of Car Thoughts. I'm chilling in the DMV, or at the DMV. I'm in the parking lot, and I'm waiting my turn to take my test for my CDL. I'm gonna take the permit test to see if I pass it, and if I get my license, I'm going to go up and out. I'm going to go and start possibly driving a truck for a little while. I'm going to try and get out of debt real quick, because I'm trying to make my dreams happen, and being in debt, just kind of every time I get an extra dollar, I want to immediately invest it in things that I care about and things that my passions, But I feel so guilty about it because I realize that I have, my wife and I accumulate, total we have $35,000 in debt. Closer to 37 actually. And I know it's not a significant amount, but it's enough to drive me crazy. I can't imagine building a business, building this dream of mine into an actual thing, but then turn around and look and I secretly have $40,000 in debt, so the way I'm doing this is I'm just going to straight rip the Band-Aid off is what I've been talking about. My little analogy that I've been saying. Not analogy? Metaphor? I don't know. English. So I'm going to be ripping off the Band-Aid per se. And by doing that, by getting my CDL license and driving a truck for a short period of time. Truck drivers do make a lot of money. A lot more money than I've ever made in my life, I think. But it's not about the money right now it kind of is. I'm trying to just do this as fast as possible, referring to what Dave Ramsey says is, you gotta suck it up. You gotta get uncomfortable in order to fix your life, basically. You put yourself into this hole. It's no one's fault. It's no one's responsibility but your own. You know what I mean? So and this is my responsibility. I chose to, I guess I can talk about how I accumulated the debt and the stupid decisions that I made to get to this point. Basically, it's, I have $10,000 in student loan debt, and that happened in 2013, 2014, when I went to school for a year and a half and took out a whole bunch of loans. And I didn't go to class. I lived in the dorms. I stayed up all night watching anime and not going to class in the mornings. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, so I did nothing, basically. I know that's the wrong answer now, but looking back, I didn't really get much out of that experience other than a realization that, it was a $10,000 mistake, basically, is all it is. Later on, I decided to join the military in 2016, and then I graduated basic training in AIT, and 6 months later, I was in active duty, and I was getting sent to Fort Polk, Louisiana. And the first thing that I decided to do with my little, that was the first sign of success that I've ever witnessed, experienced personally, that it was tough, the training was. Especially at the AIT, that was very mentally tough and physically exhausting. So I decided to buy a $25,000 car, right? I bought a car off the showroom floor, and I had $2,500 to my name. So I used that as a down payment, and instead of buying a $2,500 car, back then, instead of doing that and just riding that till the wheels fall off, or save up and get a new one, I just went ahead and dropped $2,500, and as soon as I drove it off the lot, it obviously, that was in 2017, and it was a Ford Fusion. It was a 2017 Ford Fusion, and if you Google or go on to Kelley Blue Book right now in 2020 and Google research a 2017 Ford Fusion, you can pick one up for $12,000. And if you're savvy about it, you can snag one for about $10,000, which is freaking insane because 3 years ago, that car was $25,000, brand new. And they don't make them anymore now, so that's like the latest model that they have, so it's the newest one per se. The 2017, I think 2018 was the last year they made them. I'm not sure. But I know that they didn't change the body style at all. But I don't know, that was another lesson learned, a lesson that hurts today even, obviously I'm literally paying for it. And I did, let's see what else. And so after that, my wife and I decided to get married. She was my girlfriend at the time. We had a lot of off and on relationship, and we ended up having a kid together. We ended up getting married. And as soon as we did, we both got really itchy for real itchy to just get stuff. We felt the need to buy plates, forks, furniture. We got this new empty house that we don't have anything in it. We don't have anything to put into it. So we were just anxious and just ready to get it done and slap it all together. And so we opened up a credit card, 2 credit cards, and maxed them out. One was like $750 limit, and the other one was like a $2,000 limit. And we maxed them out. And then we didn't pay for them, and then they closed them out, and we've been... Yeah, so I'm literally about to make the second of third. There's 3 payments on the smaller one, the 900. After interest rate and all, it ended up being like $900, almost $1,000. But they closed the account out, and I'm paying a pretty significant chunk of it at a time. And so to this coming up paycheck, I'll be paying the second of 3 payments to get that one out of here. But yeah, so we just, together we have accumulated lots of debt, right? Just lots of debt. And we're looking at, and by the way, we don't own the car anymore, right? The car got repoed. So there's that. And obviously I don't have a degree for that $10,000 of student loan debt. I don't even have nothing to show for that. And then the credit cards and stuff, like we bought a TV, a PlayStation, furniture, all that stuff. We don't have anything to show for it. As a matter of fact, that $700 TV that I bought with a Best Buy debit credit card got stolen. It got stolen. I filed for the whatever, and nothing happened. The investigators basically told me I'm SOL on this. So I lost, and then I just didn't have a TV to play my PlayStation, so I sold that. And so I don't have we have nothing to show for all this accumulated debt, which is insane. And you would think $35,000 is a lot of money, but, when you play with other people's money, you don't treat it as respectfully as if you would, if you earned your hard-earned dollars, you wouldn't treat it the same way. And we're no different, you know what I mean? We were victims to it as well. So we made a lot of stupid, just dumb decisions, and they haunt us today. We haven't added anything to that pile of debt since the credit cards got maxed out. We chose to not. Let's cut these things up. Let's not accumulate any more. No more cars. No more. If we don't have cash to pay for it, we're not doing it. And that's where we're at right now. And so we got little jobs right now while I'm working on this, building this passion, this dream of mine, and creating a business geared around my art. I am just working at a hotel right now, just folding clothes at a hotel, like folding towels and stuff for like nothing, basically. And my wife and I, we actually both work at the same place, and we did the math on it. And if we were to keep our jobs right now and not make any more money and just operate on the money that we're making there, it would take us 7 whole years to pay off this debt. And I don't know about you, but personally, I'm sick and tired of having owed money on things that I don't even own anymore. Technically, they were never mine to begin with, but I don't have any of it anymore, and I'm sick of it. So, yep, I decided to do a little bit of research on what can I do to make myself make more money quicker. And and this is just temporary. Again, I don't plan on making this a whole career with like driving a truck, because there's no career in it for me. Because the reason I left the military was because I couldn't stand the idea of being away from my family for months and months at a time. And you want me to do that for 20 years, and by the time my service is up, my kid is grown and gone. No thanks. So I don't know, I got out of there. But I'm willing to sacrifice. I know I'm going to be on the road a lot if I get my CDL. When I get my CDL, there's no if. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get my permit, and then in a couple of months' time, I'll be able to get my license. And then after that, I'll be making a significant amount of money, comparatively. And I did the math on it, and we could be out of debt, making the promised dollar amount. We could be getting out of debt in around 14 months if we behave. If we make our money behave, which we're learning how to do. We're following Dave Ramsey's guidance and his instruction booklet, basically, step-by-step instructions. And we're getting it done, we're just, whatever. So, and a little bit more, we're just looking at the benefit of working and making this kind of money. And yes, I'm going to be away, but looking at them in a positive and optimistic way is obviously we'll get debt paid off quicker, much, much quicker. To be open and upfront with you, we live in, it's not Section 8 housing, but it's dang close. It's like government-funded housing, and so it goes based off of your income right now. And they're just old, dirty buildings, and we live next to just nasty people, and so we fight off roaches really, really bad in our house. And they come in and spray every month. We keep spraying them and killing them and all, but they just come out of we watch them come out of the paint of the walls, and it's disgusting, and I'm sick of it. And I'm using that as like a big, big motivator to get the hell out. Get out, Like this is all accumulated. It's all accumulated. All these are like decisions that we've made up to this point. It's the reason we're in the position we are in. And I don't dwell on that and dang, I wish I wasn't, whatever. No, it's my responsibility to fix it, because I put myself in this position. So that's what I'm doing. I'm taking charge of myself. We're living uncomfortably right now. We live in this tiny, tiny place with, we live in a 2-bedroom, tiny, old, nasty apartment with 5 people that live in it. My wife, me, my wife, and our 3 kids. And how? Oh my gosh, it's. So so the game plan is for me to go, make this money, and don't buy stupid stuff. Just don't buy dumb shit. And pay off debt. Pay it off quickly. Right? And then once we get it paid off, ideally I would like to start saving for increase our emergency fund a little bit, because, of course, following Dave Ramsey's plan, his first step is to save $1,000 and have the little baby emergency fund. And we have that. And I'll tell you what, we got it, and I feel like we can rule the world now, because we followed his little steps of, first off, you've got to stop the pain. You're inflicting pain on yourself by adding debt to your pockets. Like you're emptying your pockets, and you're never ever going to find peace and happiness through that. And so get rid of it. Sell the car, cut up the credit cards, stop this. Move out of your apartment that you can't afford, sell your house, whatever it takes. And so we did that. We're now in these awful crap apartments. And we both have vehicles now. Crazy enough, we both have vehicles that are paid off and in our name. And that's nuts. Mine cost, up front, I paid the guy $1,500 cash, and I handed it to him, and he gave me the title to a vehicle, and that's nuts. And then we turned around and bought my wife one for $2,000. Holy crap. And so we both have vehicles. And yes, they have their problems. In fact, mine is running into some issues. It's still drivable, whatever. But my wife's, hers is like completely, they hit a bunch of problems that we weren't able to identify. And then as soon as we drove it off their property, it started to like break down. It ran hot. And now, whatever. We're gonna fix that instead of complaining. We're gonna sort that out, and that's gonna be fine. But yeah, we have a game plan, and we have a little bit of leeway. We have a little bit of like authority in our lives for the first time ever. You know, we're still kids. We're still young. I'm 25, and she's 24, and I don't know. It's good. You know, like. Usually I get on here, like episodes 1 through 7 of Car Thoughts was just me complaining, and not necessarily complaining, but expressing that I don't know what I'm doing, you know, like I don't know, I'm fucking up really bad, and I know that, and I understand that. I don't know where I'm going. I can't seem to get a grip on life, and for the first time ever in my life, I feel as if I have some sort of power and control, and I'm so much more confident than I ever have been because we're taking charge, you know, like we've got this little savings account, and we have sat down and wrote a budget. And not only just sat down and wrote a budget, we're following the budget, and we both agree on it. My wife and I both, we're both finally, for the first time in our marriage, and the first time that since she and I met, we're on the same page with money. I don't feel the need to hide money from her at all. We pull it out of the ATM, and I hand it to her in cash, and she does with it just the exact same thing that I would do with it, you know. And I don't know, we just have a very detailed, descriptive plan of how we're going to execute, how we're going to pay our bills, what form we're going to pay it in, whether it be like online or in cash, and we're just doing it, you know. And it feels so good. It feels so good. And so this is the next step. This is it's been kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie, saving up that $1,000 was kind of fun. I opened up a bank account, separate bank account with a different bank, and only opened a savings account so that I can't transfer funds from the check into savings. And I don't have a card tied to that bank. This is emergency money, and I'm talking I have to drive to the bank. You know, I have to drive to the bank, pull the money out that way, and they also charge you like, I can't remember the exact dollar amount, but it's a couple dollars every time you withdraw from that. So they're basically punishing you for, you know, holding it. And if that account drops below $100, it's like a $30, $40 fee. So it really encourages you to keep that money in there. And so our little savings account's sitting there, and it's chilling. We don't have access to it unless we need it. And to be a little funny something, I thought we were going to need it yesterday, because my wife and I were, my wife slammed her finger into the door, and I looked at it. She said it bent backward, like it bent wrong. You know, when she like slammed it in there, it was bent the wrong way. And then I looked at it, and it looked crushed. I was like, oh no, she broke her finger. She just broke her finger, and we gotta go. So I was thinking in my mind, I was like, all right, we'll just drive to the bank, we'll just pick this money up, and we'll just haul ass to the hospital, and we're going to get you taken care of. Unfortunately, just a little bit of ice, and she was able to find out that it's not broken, it's just really, really sore now. But we had that power, you know, like it really sucks that she slammed her finger in the door, and thank God I was, you know, I've been professionally trained and equipped to deal with, you know, a minor injury. And I don't know, it just felt so good yesterday, and we didn't have to panic because of a crisis. A little tiny emergency stayed a tiny emergency because we were set up, you know, and thank God we didn't have to pull any money out, and we didn't have to worry about it, you know, but we were ready to do so, you know, just in case. And, you know, it just felt so good. It felt so good, and it still feels. I am so proud of us, and just where we're at as a family, and just what we're doing as a team, and we no longer speak negatively. You know, that's something we actively pursue is like always say something positive to one another. Always say something. What's your favorite part of the day? You know, at the end of the day, what's your favorite part of the day? Or, you know, just anything really. It's like, what are you looking forward to in the near future? Like, or what's your dreams? What are your passions? Like, just ask each other that, and really get each other like, it forces us to think about like, what's our next move, and to keep us steered in like, what are you passionate about? Well, let's focus on that. You know, like my wife today, she slammed her finger in the door, and she can't write, and that's her thing. She loves writing. She loves to write, and that's what she wants to do. And she's trying to learn how to channel that and where it should go. But that's her passion. That's her dream. And work, you know, with us working in a hotel, and there's hurricanes coming. There's like natural disasters. COVID's happening. Everybody. The hotel business is like, ours specifically is like booming right now because of people fleeing from the natural disasters and just fleeing from COVID, basically. It's kind of ironic, but it's booming. And basically our boss told us that we get no days off. We have to work. You know, we have to work, and we're there to work. And my wife, she just said, I'm taking a break because I just hurt my finger. And I care about writing. That's my passion. That's what I want to do. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take care of that. And me working, pushing this big cart around, whatever, it's hurting my finger so bad, I'm taking a break. And that's, you know, and she's able to do that because she's identified what she cares about. Instead of just letting somebody run all over her, she has identified that this is what I care about and this is what I'm going to stand up for. And she does it. And it's awesome. It's very inspiring, actually. Because sometimes that's something I struggle with personally, is I just don't seem to stand up for myself sometimes, because I just kind of stand for nothing, basically. But this is something I'm actively working on, obviously. But anyway, so I guess to reel it back and to explain, I'm watching a truck drive by. But on this road to getting out of debt, I'm trying to dub the road, the journey, this chapter is like, I'm trying to give it a name, a title, the road to getting out of debt or something like that, you know, because I'm on the road, something quirky. But yeah, so the plan is to get out of debt, and then once it takes us a year and a couple of months to get out of debt. That's great, you know, and then we can start looking at saving for a larger emergency, you know, like a larger, build up our emergency fund a little bit further, and me still driving and whatnot, and it'll get done relatively quickly. And once it's filled up that way, we're going to start saving my number. This is, again, something I want to talk to my wife a little more about, but we want to open up a shop, a coffee shop, I also want it to be a bit of an art gallery, something I can display my own art, invite other artists. We want a space that we can like bring to the public, show the world our work and stuff we care about, and allow people to hang out and allow people to buy from us, you know, buy t-shirts and stickers and coffee and just whatever, you know, like original work. And what in the... Okay, I'm just... I put my foot on a button in my car, and I was freaking out a little bit. Anyway, it's I don't know. We just want to do that, and so our number right now, my personal number that I would like to achieve is $20,000, and that's if it'll cover rent for a while, it'll cover expenses of like, you know, equipment, and in the meantime, while we're like getting out of debt, we're looking forward, giving ourselves something to look forward to get us excited by, you know, I'm going to be driving around, and I'm going to make it and intentionally drive around to local coffee shops in the all these different cities and states that I drive to. I'm going to go look at these coffee shops and get an idea of what's really cool and take inspiration from that and just really dive into that. And so by the end of this little chapter or whatever, we'll have a really nice idea of what we want and the stuff that we want to have and how we want to operate and all that. So it's definitely something to look forward to. And that's why, that all of those thoughts and all of those looking in the mirror and deciding what in the hell makes us happy, what drives us, what brings us joy, and what drives us, what gives us passion. Just all these things is like, it's such a personal journey. And obviously I have different passions than my wife does, and we try and accommodate for both of those things. I try and do my best to give for her while also working on mine, and she does the same thing. It's a nice balance. It's a healthy balance to keep each other afloat, and honestly, it's like a lifelong collaboration, really, if you think about it. But yeah, it's all of those decisions, all of those dreams and ideas and plans. It's all led up to the fact that I'm able to sit right here at the DMV, in my car, waiting for my name to get called, just so I can do this. And I'm certain of what I want to do, And there's no other, like, I've already set it in my mind. This is what I'm doing, And there's multiple reasons of why, and one of them obviously is so I can get out of debt, and so we can start doing whatever the hell we want to do, And it's, I don't know, it just I don't know. We're learning every single day. We don't have it all figured out, and we're being overly studious. We're trying to learn. I'm especially trying to read and dive into some books. By the way, I keep referring to Dave Ramsey. You can find him on YouTube. You just type in Dave Ramsey on YouTube. You can find his podcast on Spotify. You can also find his book. I know this is not like a paid promotion, whatever. I'm just I've been following this man for a long time, and I'm just now following his step-by-step tutorial, and it's working for me. And so I just want to, if two people hear this and go, holy crap, I need this, go ahead and get his book. He has a book called The Total Money Makeover, and buy it, read it, absorb it, push through the first 100 pages, I'll tell you that, because it's a lot of prep work. It's mentally preparing you for the real deal, the first 100 pages. And then after that, it really dives into the step-by-step tutorial of how to do it. But it's a great book. It's a great read. And you can feel watch several of his videos and get an idea of who he is as a person. And you can feel that translated into his words. And he's just emitting his personality and his own passions into his book. And that's really cool. It's very very powerful. But yeah, we're doing our thing, and I wanted to sit here and make something, really. Wanted to make another podcast episode, and wanted to sit here and bring some value to people's lives. And I'll see you later, because I'm getting called. Bye! The DMV is calling me. Bye.